Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Lafferty. I'm from Telluride, Colorado, and over this summer I spent 2 weeks in Seattle, Washington, practicing computer science at Rover.com. So getting to work with Rover was a pretty unique experience due to what Sarah just said. We had no idea where I was going to be going because I joined the program late. So we started reaching out to other people, like Pinterns, because usually getting a host family takes the longest amount of time. So she said Seattle, and that was an easy place for me to find a host family. So she starts looking in Seattle and remembers Chris Anderson, who is shown there. And we contacted Rover, and they're like, yeah, we've never had an intern before, but we can try it. So I tried, and they accepted me. So that's where I got to spend 2 weeks. So what is Rover, you may be asking? It's basically just Uber for dogs. They connect dog sitters with people who need dog services, like dog walking or dog boarding, etc. Yeah, it's super cool. So basically, like, say you're at work and you need your dog walked, you get on the app, you request somebody to come walk your dog, and they'll come and walk your dog. So my time at Rover was spent with 2 development teams mainly. The first one was the Malamutes, and the second one were the Chihuahuas. All the development teams and every team in general at Rover is named after dog breeds, except for HR. They're the people team. Development teams they have a lot of different meetings, but for me, it was a bunch of different teams of like 4 to 5 people who all worked together on a certain aspect of the website. Most of them had a specialty. So you had people who were working on databases and back end, and then people who are building like what you would see on the front end. The main project that we were working on was the services page. So the services page is a page of, if you sign up to be a sitter and you get accepted, you can choose what services you would like to provide, like dog walking or dog boarding. So this is the services page that you can enable or disable said services. So the problem with this page is Rover provides so many services that the page was super long. So if you were on mobile or on like a small computer, they couldn't see the save and continue button at the bottom. And they would just like enable a service and then leave the page and never hit the save button. And then they'd contact support and be like, why am I still getting dog walking requests when I turned that off last week? So what we were trying to figure out is how to remove the save button so as soon as you enable the service, it would just instantly enable and there would be no other issues. So that was what we worked on, and I'm pretty sure it shipped like a week ago, which is pretty cool. Let's see. So that was most of what my time took up, but I also got to see a bunch of other components of a software engineering's like job. So I got to be a part of a interview process where somebody was trying to get hired. So they had a 3-step interview process, and I was able to be in that entire process until he was eventually hired. So that was super interesting. I also got to be in all sorts of different meetings with different teams from all over the place. And so that was like teams from like HR all the way to development teams. I just got to kind of see it all because they didn't have a set program. So I was just kind of all over the place. Finally, I got to, and it was also really interesting to see how people work together. It's not just like a super solo job. You don't just sit in one place and just work on code. You're constantly collaborating with people who are better at certain things than other people. And it's this whole environment that is super interesting. Finally, I have a very unorthodox schooling situation due to my health. So I got to ask a lot of questions during lunch. That was some of the most valuable time I had, is I would talk to these developers during lunch and learn how they got there and like advice that they had for me going forward. And it was a super, super amazing experience that I got to learn from all these people. And that's advice to future Pinterns. Utilize lunch. It's an hour where people aren't working and you can just talk to people. It's amazing. Finally, outside of Rover, I just did a lot of exploring of Seattle. One of the main things I went to was this Amazon Go store, which is super cool technology. You walk in, you scan your phone, you like pick up what you want in the store, and you just leave. You don't have to talk to a cashier, and they just charge your Amazon account. It's awesome. The other thing I went to was a puppy meetup, which is Python programming in like the Puget Sound area. And I got to meet with like top developers from Amazon and Google and Microsoft and these super, super smart people. I also got to meet with like developers of the Python programming language itself, which I worked with, which is super cool. And yeah, thank you.